very welcome to this new episode of the 7,000 Islands. And my name is Eric, and this is a bit of a podcast episode. So we're just gonna talk about some stuff. And my wife and I are living here in the Philippines, and we started, working here in the family business and everything. And this sort of podcast is about just, immigrating to the Philippines, living in the Philippines, and changing context and how it affected us as a Christian, and where we been drifting away from our faith as well, and this kind of stuff really. So it's not just for Christian, it's just some general observations, and Easter is a good time to really think about it. So let's get into the video. Also, just before we get into the video or in the podcast, you can listen on that audio only. So it's a podcast. We have a normal sort of a video where we both, Alyssa and me, are talking, have some Easter greetings, a short one, which you can see as well. But we're gonna build up a few podcasts over the next few months where we just talk about different things. Things we have here, like for living in the Philippines, but also different topics, running a business here in the Philippines, and things we just learned and know here, like what you can do when you immigrate to another country and all this kind of stuff. So it will be a mix out of different things, and we make different playlists, so you can look that up on our channel better, so what is what. And so if we will always be very clear when we talk about things and what our credential of talking about those things, like we're gonna talk about AI because that was my master thesis topic, and in the last few weeks lots of things have changed, and some of the future videos or podcasts. And that's the kind of thing we just gonna do. So I hope you enjoyed it, but let's get into the video.
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
To better understand what I'm talking about, but it's definitely not necessary, you can also read in the Bible. There's two passages in Matthew chapter 6 and Timothy chapter 6 where there's the topic explained a little bit, where we've been thinking a lot about as well, and what we're gonna talk here in this video. So and first we got really thinking, with some phone calls from friends, but also with a death of a dear friend of mine who died with 16, so very young. And I had the pleasure of reading the Bible with him and meeting the family and spending quite some time during the pandemic with him, which was very encouraging to see that someone in a very desperate situation, like someone who knows it's not gonna go so long anymore in this life, to have hope for the future and trust in God. It really affected us, and we sort of drifted away from all of this a bit, and from our faith as we moved here to the Philippines, and we're not in that Christian bubble anymore. Since we became Christians, Alyssa and me, we've been living in that Christian bubble. So we worked for a Christian NGO in the UK, then we moved to Germany, and we had a really good church close by where we attended, and we had lots of friends. And then we moved here, and it took us almost a year to find a church, and to building up Christian friendships is very difficult, just to find really believing Christians here. Although in the Philippines many people go to church, but they don't live their faith in a way. So you don't really know, is it actually faith what they have in God, or is it just tradition? And which is fine, which is still better than having no religion, in my opinion. So Christianity can really have an positive effect on people, if it's not used to to manipulate or to abuse people, which is, of course, in any sort of faith possible. But that's not the topic. Maybe that's a topic for another podcast. But yeah, and so we are surrounded by people who have their own businesses and all this kind of stuff, and you get in that sort of business mindset or something like this. So you think more about money, things you need to have, and all this kind of stuff, and to be happy. And rather than actually, Jesus says like, no, those things enslave you. Your desires often can enslave you, because then you start living for those desires rather than living for something that actually fills your life out. And a fulfilled life is a life lived by the ways your creator God actually designed you for. And yeah, so all this kind of stuff came back. And yeah, we've been thinking about it, and then Easter, of course, came along, and we started to think more about like Easter, Jesus died for us. Are we actually still? Is it still affecting our lives that we can live a life with a direct connection to God, because Jesus saved us and also gave us hope for a life beyond death. So even when we are not happy right now, which you might be noticed in some of my videos, I'm not always happy, sometimes thinking quite negative, then Jesus comes and says, well, I give you life to the fullest, which is not depending on your situation right now. And that's how you see how people can live a fulfilled life as Christian, for example, in North Korea. It's not easy, and the Bible is full of examples like this. But and we are having so much here. We are not living a bad life in the Philippines here, but you always want then more and more, and then Jesus comes and says, no, replace those desires with these desires to live for others. How can you use the money wisely for others? Investing wisely in the future, but not just selfish, but for that it's not a selfish way of life, and this kind of thing. So we started reading Galatians, which is a letter to Christians who are struggling under a lot of pressure, and they're thinking, well, maybe we should go back to our old life as when we were not Christians. And it really reaffirms that it's worth living a life which we actually created for, and having a real hope beyond death, which is not depending on us, a hope beyond our material things we have around us, and which just depends on Jesus and what he has done, well, basically on Easter. So he died and then he rose again. So he showed that's not just like hearsay or something, like he just didn't make that up. He actually showed what will come for us. And yeah, that got us really thinking, and so to reevaluate what we do here and how we do them. And yeah, it's just Jesus wants to give us a free life. And if we worry constantly about money, even though we have enough money, it's not like that we are not having enough for our basic needs, but we think like, oh, we want this car, or we want this, and we want to build this kind of house and all this kind of stuff, because everyone around you thinks like this. And a house and a car and all these things are not bad in itself, but when they are coming your sort of motivation in life, then it's not enough. It's not fulfilling you, it will not fulfill you. So, and it will affect the marriage and how you meet other people and how we're trying to settle here in the Philippines. And all this kind of things. So we've been really reflecting, and you're reading more the Bible really, and just to get our mindset set on the things like the Bible speaks, on the things which are above. That doesn't mean we don't live here in this world. No, we live in this world here. We have real problems and real things, but if we put them into perspective of what Jesus says for us, or what's his plan for us, that we live a life which is filled by joy in him, so we can have fulfillment in him, then it takes a lot of pressure out of the relationships. So we are not there to make each other happy, but like we seek fulfillment in God, and that's very, very different. And it's just something we need to be reminded a lot on, and that's much easier when you live in sort of your faith bubble, in your Christian bubble, than when you come here and you're sort of out of context, and you really need to have a lot of discipline to keep on going. And it kind of shaked us up this Easter. Like we were sort of what are we doing? And we just wanted to talk about it here. It's we're planning some more podcast style of videos, which are not cut in a way, like you can just listen that on audio only, so it's available for this video. And we're not just gonna talk about things which are Christian like this video, but Easter of course was now a video which like it is about Christianity. Easter is about Christianity. So, and I hope you enjoyed it. Leave it a like, and we see you in the next one.